So now we're ready to move a step higher. So Jermaine, I understand diatonic chords. Do not repeat yourself again. I know you like to repeat yourself a lot. I understand circular movement. I'm gonna print out the circle of fifths if I haven't already, and I clearly see if it's neighbors on the chart, they're friends, they're relatives, they're buddies, they lead to each other, they like to be with each other, and I can play a lot of songs by understanding the circle. But now what I want to introduce you to is stepwise motion. And that's when songs are moving with the scale almost right next to each other. They're moving in whole steps and half steps. So instead of having this movement between C and F, okay, instead of having C going to F, that's circular movement. And F going to B flat and E flat and G flat. That sounds very good. But sometimes songs, you know, they move up the scale. You know, they go, and then they'll use these chords going up. Now those won't be the exact voices, but those are the diatonic chords that work. You know, Kirk Franklin has a song and it just moves up the scale, you know. You know, they go from C, D, E, F, G, C. If you think about it, that G going to C, that's circular movement. We know the fifth tone of the scale, it leads home to the one. But stepwise motion is when you're literally going step by step. You know, half steps, whole steps. Just take out the half and whole. And if you're going in step motion like that, whether half or whole, you're using music, it'll follow that. So that's the other half of the equation. Now there's some other movements too, but these are songs like, you know, for example, Jesus is the answer for the world today. Above them there's no other. Jesus is the way. I hope y'all don't mind my singing. I'm not a singer, but do you see what we did in that song? And I tried to keep it simple on purpose. I just kept this D flat. I moved the D flat just to show you a different key, but I've kept this D flat major chord, D flat, F, and A flat. And I just alternated between an A flat major chord in first inversion, C, E flat, and A flat from bottom to top. And I alternated while my bass moved down every tone of the D flat major scale. And I moved in step. It doesn't matter if you go down or up, I moved in step. Not always whole steps, not always half steps, but I moved with the why won't he wear white when hot backwards. And don't ask me to do that backwards. I'm not good. I'm not dyslexic either. So I'm just, look at my right hand. I'm not trying to teach you the progression. I'm just trying to get you to understand the concept. It actually works though. Jesus is the way. You can just literally switch this for my beginners. And this is perfect for stepwise motion. That's Jesus is the answer. But just to tell you and understanding you, but really convey to you that songs move in step as well. No weapon formed against me. You know that song. Shall prosper. And then, you know, it won't work. Of course, you'll play better chords as you get better and better. Some of those extended chords we talked about. But for explanation purposes, do you see stepwise motion? But stepwise motion can oftentimes be converted to circular motion. There's a fine line. Let me show you. So we're in the key of D flat. Now you clearly know what stepwise motion. We're literally moving down step by step, alphabet letter by alphabet letter, degree by degree. These are different ways to say it. Down the scale. Even Mariah Carey has a song. I think it's it actually does something different there. But, you know, just the examples, we're just moving down a scale. Okay? But how can I convert that? Well, here's my thought process. So what I ask myself is, using the circle, what leads to where I want to go? So if I'm on D flat and I want to make this song better, because stepwise motion is very pretty and it has its places as well, but sometimes the circle makes it more spicier. So instead of just going down, what you do is you say, what's a fifth away from where I am? And so you would have to literally look at the circle going counterclockwise, like I said, back up, circle where you're at, but then back up and get the one right before it, that neighbor on the right-hand side, or going in counterclockwise direction, the neighbor before it. So if I'm on B flat, what's the neighbor before B flat? Okay, so if B flat is at 10 o'clock, you want to find the neighbor that's at 11 o'clock, not at 9 o'clock. Remember, we're going counterclockwise, so you want the neighbor that would have been right before B flat, going in the opposite direction of the clock. So that neighbor is F, okay? And in Gospel Keys 202, I taught you different chords that go on the third tone or F. You know, there's many things you can do. There's many chords. In Gospel Keys 600, Jonathan went a step further and taught you tons of things to do on the third tone of the scale. Okay, so what I would do, maybe add that chord in, is what we call an F7 sharp 9 sharp 5, one of those altered chords that sound very good. Spelled out, it's F on the left, A, C sharp, because it's sharp 5, E flat, and G sharp, the sharp 9. So we got the sharp 5 and the sharp 9. And instead of going, I can go, Jesus is the answer. And then, you know, I would pick this chord next, but you know, we're just keeping it simple like this. But do you see how that works? So now we just kind of made this circular. Now remember that 7? See, I could go one of my favorite. Or I can take that. That's one of my favorite movements. I overdo that one. For the world today. And then, you know, remember that progression, that silver and gold progression? See, that's how you make it circular. So at first it's step. But then you start saying, well, what's a fifth tone away or before or after? You know, you start taking that circle and understanding, and that's how you get a mixture of step motion and circular motion. You don't have to do it for everything. We don't have to go like circle crazy. This would be going circle crazy. You know, we don't want to go circle crazy. But, you know, sometimes we can go with the circle and then just keep going stepwise motion. Or, you know, you can mix, you know, step motion together with circle motion. But it's just important to understand that some songs move step by step, and sometimes it's in the middle. You know, you might get to this F and go down to, or you might get to this G flat and go down to F, E flat, but then the E flat goes circular to the A flat and then brings you home. So there's a mixture of step and circle in all kinds of music. And it's good to get your ear to understand the differences as you're just hearing stuff, you know, to know that that's circular. But this, that's stepped, because we're going E flat, F, G flat, A flat. But if you think about it, the progression is really E flat to A flat. It's circular, but we chose step by step every tone of the scale in between just to connect it together. So these things are oftentimes connected. That's why I said there's a fine line between circular and stepwise motion. So you got diatonic chords, you got circular movement, you got the 34 principle, you got a basic understanding of stepwise motion, you got a combination concept, how to combine both if you only have step, how to look at the circle and go in that counterclockwise direction, how to add stuff when you want to be creatively different, if you will. You understand this now. We're building this thing up, y'all. So Pattern Paradise is heavy. It's about understanding patterns, but once you get it, you'll have a whole new door open up to you, a whole nother opportunity out there to make your own music, to hear where music is going a lot easier, to hear the patterns, to play them, to enjoy music, to actually understand not just what's happening, but how and why it's happening. So we'll see you in the next segment.